And our final story is from the United Kingdom. Butter that melts too soon, coffee beans that wither before they are picked, cows that struggle under a burning sun. Climate change is no longer just reshaping seasons, it's reshaping supermarket shelves. A new report by the Energy and Climate Intelligence Unit finds that weather extremes are driving food inflation faster than ever, with staples like beef, butter, milk, chocolate and coffee rising 4 times quicker than other groceries. Droughts, heat waves and floods are turning harvests into heartbreaks, pushing everyday prices to a painful high. From parched fields to soaring bills, the climate crisis is now hitting homes and the checkout. For more details in our next report.
The weekly grocery run is starting to feel like a luxury. Butter, beef, coffee, chocolate, milk, the staples that once felt ordinary are suddenly straining household budgets. And a new report says the weather may be to blame. Around the world, fields are cracking, rains are failing, and harvests are shrinking. What used to be bad luck for a farmer has become a familiar forecast. The Energy and Climate Intelligence Unit has found that extreme weather, fueled by climate change, is now one of the biggest drivers of global food inflation. The numbers are sobering. Climate-linked foods like beef, butter, milk, coffee and chocolate rose by 15.6% in 2024, while other groceries climbed just 2.8%. These 5 items make up only 11% of the average shopping basket, but now account for nearly 40% of all food price inflation. For millions of consumers, that means the climate crisis is no longer an abstract threat. It's right there in the price tag. Coffee, for instance, is almost entirely grown in climate-vulnerable countries. The El Niño weather effect, now intensified by rising global temperatures, has triggered severe droughts in major producers like Brazil and Vietnam. Coffee trees parched and stunted are yielding less. The result? Record high global prices and anxious growers across Latin America, Africa and Asia.
We've seen 5 foods in particular rise pretty drastically compared to others in the basket. And those 5 are beef, butter, milk, coffee, and chocolate. So almost all coffee is produced in climate vulnerable countries, and climate change is intensifying the El Nino weather effect.
Cocoa's story is no sweeter. Nearly all of it comes from West Africa, a region battered by a roller coaster of extreme weather, torrential rain, punishing drought, and sweltering heat waves. The combination has spread black pod disease, devastating trees and cutting yields. In just 3 years, cocoa prices have tripled, and for chocolate lovers, the treat has never been this costly.
West Africa has faced a kind of roller coaster of extreme weather over recent years, and this has caused black pod disease to spread amongst the cocoa trees, and it's impacted yields really significantly.
Dairy and meat producers are also feeling the heat, quite literally. When pastures dry up and water runs low, animals produce less milk, farmers spend more on feed, and costs ripple through the supply chain. Extreme weather is reshaping the economics of food from the ground up. In the UK, food prices are expected to keep rising until the end of the year. The Bank of England forecasts inflation will reach 5.5%, assuming no further climate shocks. But that's a big assumption. A single failed harvest halfway across the world could once again send prices spiraling.
Generally, the fact that food inflation is happening is not surprising. And the fact that's happening at a higher rate than the consumer price index, also not surprising. So essentially, if there are any climate shocks, food will be more exposed, more impacted to it than most other economic sectors.
From Europe's parched farmlands to Africa's flood-soaked fields, the story is repeating itself. The planet warms, the weather worsens, and the dinner table pays the price. For now, shoppers can only watch as climate change slips silently into the supermarket aisle, hidden in every barcode and every bite. And if the planet keeps heating, The next question may not be how much food costs, but how much of it is left to buy.
Want the facts?
The latest developments?
News that gets straight to the point.
Well, we've got all three just for you. This is Firstpost Live, a brand new show, your window into what really matters.
Don't miss it.